So, welcome everyone to our 171st episode under Trends Literature series. The Trends Literature series is not just about what we read or write, it's also about understanding the current topics which are shaping our world alongside books. We explore trending themes, ideas, conversations that really influence literature and beyond. So, today we are indeed honored to have a very special guest, Neera Misra ji. She's a renowned historian, researcher, cultural advocate, and she's widely respected for her work in reviving and preserving India's ancient heritage. She's the chairperson of Draupadi Dream Trust and has dedicated much of her life to exploring and enlightening others about richness of Indian civilization, especially through its rivers, rituals, and regional legacies. So, in this episode, she will really guide us through a very deep and thoughtful conversation on the science, significance, and sustenance of the river Yamuna. So, welcome, Neera Misra ji. I mean, it's such a pleasure to see you again, and much welcome to you.
Thank you. Namaskar to everybody. And thank you so much for having me again. And many congratulations on the 171st episode, because I think you have done wonderful work in taking forward and spreading the knowledge of what are people thinking, because it's all through their books and through their conversations that we come to know what is the thinking crowd of the nation. What are their concerns? What are their uh, contributions in different fields of uh, you know our cultural and historical journey? And I think you cover a very wide range, right from military history to actual South Indian history. You have covered so many important personalities. So it's a great honor to be with you today, and to be a part of that little effort of mine that you're promoting, and your great effort to spread awareness about our cultural heritage, which has, of course, its roots in Yamuna or any river. So I'm glad you took the time.
Thank you so much for your blessings always and well wishes. I mean, it really motivates us to go further. Uh, Coming to what we are going to discuss today, I mean, to begin with, I mean, could you please share your thoughts on the ancient Indian philosophy of Vasudev Kutumbakam and how it shapes our relationship with nature, especially rivers like Yamuna?
So I think it's the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda, which talks about this whole concept about Vasudeva Kutumbakam.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, our seers, our ancient, researchers, whom we call them rishis, and tapasya is an equivalent of research. People don't know what is tapasya. They feel tapasya is you just sit down and do meditation, but that meditation was a methodology for them to connect with the universe. तो जैसे आज हम कहते हैं ना, we are struggling for 4G and 5G, they had mastered the super G, connect with the universal knowledge. So this whole idea of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, they understood and explained to us that everything born on this earth, everything in the Brahmand, and the word Brahman comes from the person who has the knowledge of the Brahman. It's a lot of misperceptions about even the word Brahman today. So I just thought, let you explain. So the person who has the knowledge of the Brahman, those people, they were Brahmans, Brahman matlab, and they understood that we are part of the whole nature cycle. We are made of the 5 tattvas that any other life form is made. तो जो 5 तत्व हमारे हैं वो हमारे ही नहीं हैं, इंसान के ही नहीं हैं, मनुष्य के ही नहीं हैं, हर जीव में वो 5 तत्व पाए जाते हैं. And we have also this concept that you have seen, that every tradition of ours is based on the seasons, the nature cycle, and every tradition is linked to pay respect to that cycle of nature. Why it is Vasudeva Kutumbakam? Because to sustain human beings, we need nature, we need food, we need water, we need air, we need sun. Okay, now if they are our providers and sustainers, it is our responsibility and duty to pay obedience to them, keep them healthy. If they are healthy,
So right.
we will be healthy. It's like your parents. If your parents are healthy, they will be able to look after the children well. But if the parents fall sick, then the children are affected. So we are the children. Every human is the child of this universe, and all these ad- sustainable channels that God has created. As I just said, we need energy from the sun, we need food from plants, we need water. So that is why the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam basically means every living being is our relation. That is, there is an interdependence between all of us. Because relation means what? Interdependence, coming from the same root. So we come from the same root, and we come and we have interdependence, and we have to take care of each other in order for us to be healthy and surviving. That is the whole concept that the rishis understood, because they understood nature. And that is why all our rituals, we do prayer to, we call our rivers Ma. We call the trees, we do puja to trees. We pray to the sun early in the morning. As we go on, I'll tell you some little information about interesting facts about why we do the Chhat Puja, or why we stand in the river and do our सूर्य को हम अर्घ देते हैं. That we'll talk about later. But Vasudeva Kutumbakam means we are all a part of the same root, all part of the same Panch Tattva. Every living being on earth, from plant to small animals to big animals to humans.
So, so right, ma'am. And from the very, very sacred role in Indian history and mythology to the ecological and environmental challenges that the rivers face today, we will definitely try to understand today through you why rivers like Yamuna are not just physical water bodies, but they are living heritage and which are very, very crucial to our cultural identity, environmental balance, and future sustainability. And at a time when our natural resources are under increasing pressure, it's very important than ever to talk about not only as spiritual symbols, but also the ecosystems that need urgent care and urgent attention. So, I mean, I would like to know, I mean, since we know that River Yamuna is not just a river, but a civilizational artery of Bharat, how do you see her place in our spiritual, cultural, and ecological heritage?
So you used a very good word, spiritual.
Hmm.
You know what is spiritual? Spiritual is that we are connected in spirit. That is, we are connected in Atma. That's where the word comes from.
Hmm.
And cultural is that from Prakriti we got Sanskriti. So cultural is that. How Yamuna is connected, we have to first understand that Yamuna, from the spiritual point of view, we have revered her as the source of life. She is the lifeline of this whole belt running from Uttarakhand to Prayagraj. Certain this whole belt from a special spiritual significance is of uh, Mathura, Vrindavan, Prayagraj, and Indraprasth, which was a tirath at one time. It is documented as a tirath. It had many important places of where the rishis would sit and spiritually connect with nature. Like ashram ek hai, ek Nigam Bodh Ghat hai. There are many places. We can talk about that later. So the spiritual significance of Yamuna is because it has given us this connect of and our life in this area. Second is the our cultural and historical. Cultural is that our rishis created different festivals, different rituals in order to be in tune with nature, be nearer to the rivers. Because if you respect somebody or you like somebody and somebody is, you are interdependent, you would like to be near that person also sometimes. I mean, you like to go and say hello to your boss. And if you're working in an office, or if you're in the family, you'd like to go and say hello to your grandfather. So, in
Mhm.
the same way, they conceptualize that let us have rituals which will keep people connected to their natural wealth, which they will recognize as. then historically it is very, very critical, because as far as the historical connect from Delhi is concerned, Indraprasth is called in the Aryavarta, Brahmavarta region, and this Brahmavarta is like the center of the nation, and there uh, Brahma himself, that is, Brahma means that the real, when Indra was doing prayers, Brahma himself means that knowledge of Brahman came to him, that this area is full of a lot of jungles, and there was this, it was known as Khanda Prast. So Khand is that ganna. तो बहुत ज्यादा insects होते थे because of its sweetness. So he got this we should say visionary order that okay, let's do some havans to purify this area. So this place, and after doing havan, he would get the people together, and with both hands full, 40 times he would be giving dan to them. So that prastha means two things. 48 times, both hands full, you give something, and prastha also means plateau. So he chose the plateau area and he purified, and this whole place came to be known as Brahma's Indraprastha. Indra Prastha, because here he did, Indra came and he gave prastha full of dan. Now in Indraprasth is a very important spiritual place called Nigambodh Ghat. Now Nigam means place and Bodh means awareness, विवेक का awareness, बोध हुआ मुझे किसी मतलब I got an sort of a inspirational knowledge from somewhere, मुझे ज्ञान हुआ. Bodh is also an inner ज्ञान. So Nigam Bodh is the place where the Vedic ज्ञान was again revived, and so वेद का ज्ञान हुआ. इसकी वजह से उस पॉइंट पे यमुना का, जो कि निगमबोध घाट है, उसको कहते हैं. वहां पे एक हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट हुआ. That historical event happened in 3188 BCE.
Oh my God. Okay.
ठीक है. That historical event was the Rajasuya Yagya of Yudhishthira.
Okay. So much of historical relevance.
Yes. So that was there. But prior to that, on the banks of Yamuna was born a person who taught us what is Atma and Paramatma. What is this life system? What is the kartavya of life? He gave us the 4 Purushastras. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You do your, and that is, I'm talking, you have understood Sri Krishna. He was born on the banks of River Yamuna at Mathura. So Mathura's historical and spiritual significance is very much linked to our nation's history, our nation's adhyatma, that is our philosophy, because these are the people who gave us the philosophies of life. Okay, na? So I feel that is, I'm just giving you some portions, but Yamuna finally goes and meets at Prayagraj. It mingles with Saraswati and Yamuna and Ganga. See, when Yamuna flows, when I will tell you the problems of Yamuna, I'll tell you its route, but from after Agra, from Betwa, it joins Betwa and it goes to Prayagraj. So हमारे यहाँ एक बहुत अच्छा हमारे यहाँ एक very important function takes place, and which happened this year, is called the Kumbh, but this year's Kumbh was Mahakumbh. Now Mahakumbh happens after 144 years. Kumbh happens after every 12 years. And why is it that, how do we know when should the Kumbh be? So our seers, as I said, had acquired the Gyan of the Brahmand, of the universe. Brahmand is universe. So that universal knowledge, when they acquired, they knew that when Brahaspati comes in a particular position, when that is Brahaspati is Jupiter, that is a very auspicious occasion. So on that particular day, on that particular month, these are, our calendar is also based not on somebody's this thing, but they are based all on the celestial movement of the planets. तो हमारा मून से चलता है, सन से चलता है. हमारे लिए इसलिए 14 दिन का वो होता है ना, एक फोर्टनाइट होती है, एक एकादशी होती है, एक अमावस्या होती है, बिकॉज वी गो बाय द न्यू मून एंड द फुल मून, न्यू मून, फुल मून. So the spiritual connect, the historical connect. So this three rivers of meeting there is all three. That is, we celebrate our seers, we celebrate our ancient gurus, and we celebrate the rivers, main rivers that gave us the life. In the Rig Veda, there is a chapter called Nadi Shukta. The Nadi Shukta chapter mentions many rivers, it gives details, and it is considered the sacred geography of Bharat. Because sacred geography, because every civilization, every form of life actually developed on the banks of the rivers. Why? Because water is the critical part.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Our body is 75% water. The whole earth has 75% water. So wherever there is this, the Nadi ka kinara, so very interestingly, you will know that the word Tirath, how does the word Tirath come? Tir, Rath. See, the name of our nation is Bharata. Ratha means vehicle of knowledge. Ratha is a vehicle, chariot. Rath is chariot, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so Bha comes from Surya, the light of knowledge. And तीर्थ मीन्स जो नदी के किनारे जगह होती है which are of spiritual, historical and academic interest, they are called तीर्थ because वो नदी के तीर पे खट बैठते. They have all been developed on nadi tir, so they have been made famous as tirths. People have to understand the nomenclature of our ancient historical and spiritual books, then only they will connect to nature. So Tirath hamare develop hue, and Prayagraj became very, very important because it became one important every 12 years an event where almost the whole nation would assemble, and they would be given pravachans and told all about how to preserve nature, why to pray to nature, why you should come and do this. So it was a continuous effort for centuries, you know.
You're so right, ma'am. And it's very surprising how all the traditions, they really help preserve the sanctity of River Yamuna through these centuries. You were also talking about Chhat Puja taking place. I mean, there's so much. So you would like to enlighten us on that aspect also, maybe
Yes.
things that
See
have
what
carried
happened.
on, the traditions which have carried on.
Yes. See, the importance of these traditions, if you see how they are made. हमारे यहाँ एक 16 संस्कार होते हैं. From the time a child is conceived, there is a yajna to purify the house where she is. Yagna is always a purification so that the child is born in a clean and happy environment. And there are many rituals like that. Now, हमारे यहाँ तो ये भी कहते हैं ना कि जन्म से मृत्यु तक जल हमारे साथ है. जन्म होता है तो गंगा जल डालते हैं मुंह में, मृत्यु होता है तो भी गंगा जल डालते हैं. लेकिन यमुना की बहुत स्पेशल एक स्पेशल, यमुना तो मोक्ष की महारानी है क्योंकि वो यम की बहन है. ठीक है. तो अगर आपको अपनी मृत्यु चाहिए शांतिपूर्वक अच्छे से और आपको दूसरा जन्म में भी जाके, तो आपको यमुना का भी आपको मान सम्मान करना है. So Chhat Puja, I will tell you why. There are two types. We have two major Navratras. So these Navratras are basically recognizing the Shakti power, the Shakti, the energy source of the nature. And they have been given different names as per the karma, as per their properties or their activities types. So this Nau Durga, the first Nau Durga that just went by is Chaitra Nau Durga. Chaitra Nau Durga starts in the Vikram Sambat Chaitra का भी जो 9 दिन गए, उसका जो 6th day है, that is considered the day of Yamuna's birth on earth. That's the day when Yamuna came and flowed from here. Okay. तो वो एक importance, Yamuna Chhat. In Mathura and Vrindavan, they do a big celebration. They celebrate the birthday of Yamuna, arrival of Yamuna. हमारा एक गंगा अवतरण है, गंगा दशहरा होता है, जो somewhere in December, मार्च के महीने में होता है. So I will not say Magh and all because people will get confused, but that is basically our Hindi calendar system. But it happens somewhere in December.
Mm.
So what that is, one Chhat is her birthday. The second Chhat is in November when we have the Sharad Wala, Ritu Wala Nau Durga.
Mm.
Now, what happens during that and during this? During the during the Chaitra, इस समय गर्मी आ रही है. We are feeling the heat of the sun. That means the sun, as it is moving, it is coming into the northern hemisphere. We are taught in school. हम उसको कहते हैं सूर्य उत्तरायण हो रहे हैं. That means वो उत्तर की तरफ आ रहे हैं. During the Sharad Purnima, sun is going towards the south. हम कहते हैं sun दक्षिणायन हो रहे हैं, दक्षिण की तरफ जा रहे हैं. But why should we celebrate that? When we celebrate in November the Chhat Puja for 3 days, it is a very, anybody who is a science student would know this, that water is a very good conductor of energy. Okay, तो पानी में अगर कहते हैं ना करंट लग जाएगा, पानी हाथ गीले हैं तो कोई बिजली की चीज मत छुओ, जोर से करंट लगेगा, because water is a conductor of electricity and all types of energy. So if you stand so all the people, they would stand in rivers, any river, any water body, especially flowing river is important. I'll tell you why. And they would take water with their hand and do arg, and they're supposed to take the hands above the head.
Yes.
Two things are there. If you stand in the water and take the energy of the sun, it's multiplied manifold. Why you want to do that? They tell the sun, see, our thoughts, our words make a lot of difference in what we are and what we are going to be in life. So they tell the sun, now you're going down south, आप दक्षिणायन जा रहे हो, आपकी एनर्जी हमें जितनी मैक्सिमम है देते जाइए और आप जल्दी वापस आइए. It's just the connect of like a life connect with them. Like we treat them as us humans, you see. So one is taking the maximum energy of the sun via standing in the water, so that you are able to absorb, because gradually sun ki energy kam ho jayegi. And second is you pray to God, you pray to sun and you tell sun, हम कहते हैं ना सूर्य की पुत्री है यमुना. Yamuna is the daughter of Surya. Now I can explain scientifically very well to you why she is called the Surya Putri.
Please, ma'am.
In school, in school हम आज भी बच्चे पढ़ते हैं that water rises from the oceans as steam, right? भाप बन के ऊपर उठता है, फिर ऊपर बादल बनते हैं, ठीक है? बादल बन के फिर वो बारिश होती है. बट जब वो पहाड़ी एरिया में होता है तो ग्लेशियर्स बन जाते हैं. जब पहाड़ी एरिया में वो गिरता है एज आइस, ठंड की वजह से, तो वो ग्लेशियर्स बनते हैं. उन ग्लेशियर्स जब मेल्ट होते हैं या आस्ते आस्ते उनकी गर्मी आती है तो आस्ते आस्ते वो मूव करते रहते हैं, तो उससे पानी आता है. सो इट्स अ साइकिल, इट्स अ नेचर साइकिल. सो इट इज बेसिकली कमिंग फ्रॉम सन, बिकॉज सन इज हेल्पिंग द वाटर टू go up as heat, as vapor, and then come down and become ice or clouds as water, as rain, or ice as on the mountains, as the glaciers. So it's a very simple process. So सूर्य की पुत्री, क्योंकि सूर्य की वजह से ही हमें ये जल की स्रोत मिली है. Then so one is revering the sun through this, that sun you come back fast because you are going, when your relations go somewhere, you say जल्दी आना, see you soon, कहते हैं ना. तो ये लोग भी वही कहते हैं, बट हम अपनी भाषा में कहते हैं, हम श्रद्धा से कहते हैं, हम उनको प्रेम से कहते हैं कि आपने मुझे सब जीवन दिया, आपकी वजह से आज मुझे ऊर्जा मिली है. अब हमारी ऊर्जा आप चाहेंगे तो कम कम होती जाएगी, इसलिए आपसे प्रार्थना है कि हमें अपनी मैक्सिमम ऊर्जा दीजिए और फिर आगे जल्दी से वापस आइए. फिर वो सूर्य उत्तरायण में आते हैं. So our seers, and they said it in the form of little prayers, little shlokas. तो वो जो संस्कृत के श्लोक है, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो द लैंग्वेज, वी फील इट इज सम हम्बो जम्बो. It is not mumbo jumbo. It is basically revering the sun and telling the sun to bless them with energy even when you're not there. आप तो कहते हो ना अपने रिश्तेदारों से, भैया टेक केयर ऑफ योर सेल्फ, बी हेल्दी. तो वो सेम चीज है, हम उसको माँ मानते हैं इसलिए हम उसको यही कहते हैं. सूर्य को अपना पिता मानते हैं, हम उनको ये कहते हैं. So you see the beauty in which the social engineering was done by our seers, linking man to nature and making him realize you are as important as nature is important. Don't say you are the only important and nature is not important. So ये एक रिचुअल तो छठ का हो गया कि छठ पूजा इसीलिए कहते हैं. And because you have shraddha and great belief, then you feel like asking anything from him. तो भगवान कौन है? भाग्य जो बनाता है वो भगवान. भाग्य जो बनाता है वो भगवान. भाग्य कौन बनाता है? गुड एनर्जी, गुड फूड, गुड लाइफस्टाइल, गुड पीपल, गुड थॉट्स, है ना? बिकॉज व्हाट यू ईट affects not only your body, it also affects your mind, your thoughts. So हम लोग उसको भाग्यवान भगवान बोलते हैं कि आपकी वजह से हमारा भाग्य बनता है, आप हमें आशीर्वाद दीजिए so that we live a healthy life. And फिर किसी को बच्चा चाहिए तो वो बच्चे के लिए पूजा करते हैं, किसी को अच्छा वर चाहिए उसके लिए पूजा करते हैं, किसी माँ बाप को चाहिए बेटी के लिए अच्छा लड़का दूल्हा मिल जाए. So they mix up everything because they know the power of that. And they have that power of connect कि ये हमारी माँ है, ये हमारी सब बात सुनेगी. So it's it sounds for the people who have not been connected to nature, it sounds like this. Now, why we've been not connected? I mean, I would wait for your next question. There are many rituals. Every ritual में आपको जल के बिना आपका कोई आचमन, अब देखिए आचमन करना बहुत जरूरी होता है when you go and do puja. So आचमन basically means you take some water. You only also purify your mouth before you start doing the prayers. तो वो आचमन भी जरूरी होता है. अब हम आचमन यमुना के जल से नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. कृष्ण भगवान for thousands of years Yamuna was sustained or any river was sustained. And for thousands of years ये हमारे रीति रिवाज चल रहे हैं, ये आज के नहीं. Thousands and thousands of. See, every river has a science. River has a science, nature has a science. वैदिक ज्ञान विज्ञान, तो वो जो विज्ञान है उसको हमें नहीं पढ़ाया गया. हमारे बुक्स में जो इतिहास है वो नहीं पढ़ाया गया, हमारे बुक्स में ज्योग्राफी नहीं पढ़ाई गई. वी वर क्रिएट, मतलब आई एम टॉकिंग दैट इज एम्बेडेड इन आवर ओरिजिनल टेक्स्ट, वर नॉट टॉट टू अस. दे वर टॉट टू अस ओनली एज बुक्स ऑफ some mumbo jumbo religion, some adhyatma, that is philosophy, and very good literature, very good kavya. So many things have to be understood in that aspect, but I'd like to stick to Yamuna, because otherwise it will become too long. I think yesterday we were discussing about Yamuna science.
Yes, ma'am. That is what we really would like to talk about.
Yes, so we must continue with the scientific aspect. As I just said, that it is Suryaputri, it is also scientifically based. And science also tells us that we are all connected through spirit. Okay. Now, Yamuna or any river has 4 main sources of sustenance. Number 1 is the original source from which the river comes down, that is the glaciers melting and the mountain flow. And water, when it comes down with great speed, obviously flows, and we all know that water flows. If water is not stagnant, it will not create any germs, it will not create any bacteria, it will just keep flowing pure. Okay. Second source is that our system has created, the nature has a system of seasonal rains. So there would be rains in the season, because लोगों को पानी अगर चाहिए वो ले रहे हैं तो उसको replenish भी करना है. So सृष्टि ने बहुत अच्छा नियम बना दिया that okay, you will get seasonal rains if you keep the channel of the river, if you keep your glass dirt free and sewage free, then the rainwater will replenish it. Third way of replenishing was that in every house in ancient times, in every temple in ancient times, in any palace, everywhere, there were lots and lots of kuas and ponds,
Okay.
talab. Now, what happens is this is people don't understand the value of this talab and kua system. Underground, when there are तालाब and वो कहेंगे अरे नदी के 10 किलोमीटर दूर अगर तालाब है कुआ है उससे नदी को क्या फर्क पड़ेगा पड़ेगा because water no matter where it is on the earth will find its own level. Okay, now they had created these water harvesting bodies not only to meet local requirements that people cannot have, all people cannot go to the river. Secondly, वो water नीचे जाके underground nourishment करता था, which was nourishing the roots of the trees. And trees were very important to also in the keep the cycle of water, rain and all that, and temperature control. Trees are very important. So नीचे की जो underground nourishment था, latest science is telling us that the roots talk to each other. They communicate, saying, "Oh, I have less of water. Please give water to me." In the same way, water. So if there is a river and it is at this level and the water bodies are at this level, obviously जब इसको पानी जब भर जाएगा यहाँ पे, तो जब रिवर को पानी चाहिए तो ये पानी इधर फ्लो करने लगेगा, because the water bodies will become are definitely on the higher level on the earth than the river. So if when there is a less water here, then that water underground starts nourishing. But what happens if this water body goes away? So जब earth is drying, then this water from the earth will rush towards the hard surface.
Yeah.
So यहाँ का पानी, we are diminishing the water because we are not balancing this system. So the flora and fauna was surviving. Flora and fauna एक जड़ों के द्वारा पानी का movement भी होता है. And flora and fauna keeps environment cool. So there is less evaporation in the atmosphere of the heat से evaporation होता है ना, तो आप heat कम करोगे evaporation कम हो जाएगा. So it was a system, 4-point system. Natural source, water harvesting, replenishment through water, replenishment through rains, then replenished through underground nourishing systems, that is water bodies like kuas and talabs, and the trees and plants. Something very interesting you will find in our ancient texts, rivers have a particular icon. Now, every river water coming from a particular source has its own characteristics, has its own DNA.
Yeah.
जैसे हमारा blood group कुछ है, आपका blood group कुछ है, ठीक है ना? So it has its own DNA. What happens is that Ganga is always, उसका icon is crocodile, whereas Yamuna का icon is tortoise. Turtle. So because उसका जो climatic conditions है, उसकी जो biological conditions है, उसमें particular types of trees, plants, animals grow. And we had this very interesting system that when you do puja, you are supposed to take, see, पहले ज़माने में कोई synthetic तो होता नहीं था. They used to make little maybe मूर्ति out of mud or something. They used to say कि आप तिल डालो, दूध डालो, चावल डालो. Til, doodh, chawal. Why they would do that? Because in the water there are aquatic animals and plants. तो जो aquatic animals हैं, aquatic life है, उसको वो nourishment होता है.
सही बात है.
So the whole system was created कि भाई इनको ये चीज डालने से आप इनको feed कर रहे हो. And हमारे यहाँ दो चीज बहुत important मानी गई है, दो दान सबसे important माने गए. एक है विद्यादान, एक है अन्नदान. So feed every living being. So we nourish with water we nourish our plants. Okay, we give food to animals. So all those things are a cycle. It was a very well knit cycle. What happened is that suddenly we got invaded. When the invasions happened, we were disconnected. Our gurukuls were destroyed. Our even our people who were teaching us, the gurus were destroyed because they said इनके दिमाग में सब कुछ बैठा है इसको भी खत्म करो नहीं तो they will again start writing. So they destroyed that. Then we didn't know what to do. So जिसके घर में जितना था जो चलता रहा because it was such a deep rooted knowledge that it could not be wiped out. So we got disconnected. When the Britishers came, what they did was that they taught Sanskrit only as a philosophy and literature of great quality. But उसमें जो ज्ञान और विज्ञान था, they did not teach us, but they took the books away, translated, and every research that is you're finding now there is proving what our tradition is. A Nobel Prize has been given to a person who has proved that if you fast twice a month, 24 times in a year, you will keep good health. हमारे यहाँ 2 एकादशी को बोलते थे ना फास्ट करो
हाँ जी,
या
हमारे
पूर्णिमा
यहाँ
को
तो तब से चल रहा है।
है ना 2 एकादशी करो या वो करो फूड पूर्णिमा के दिन उपास करो. Why पूर्णिमा के दिन एकादश and why the 9 days fast during Navratra? That's also very critical. That's also very scientific. During Navratra, as I told you, the sun is moving. There's a movement in the Brahmand. In the universe, there's a movement of the planets. When that movement is happening, sun is also moving, there's turmoil. So keep your body, and they all affect us. The energy of each affects us to great, smaller degree, larger degree, whatever. But sun affects everybody. Sun is the most powerful. So because that movement is happening, we are told कि ये एक period of movement है, be light. When you're going to travel for 9 days or 6 days, आप बोलते हैं थोड़ा हल्का रहो क्योंकि ट्रैवल करना है, तबीयत ना खराब हो जाए. वही चीज थी, तबीयत ना खराब हो जाए. Have light food, have fruits, have liquids. So this was the 9 days. Same with Purnima. Now sun, has the power. So I'm saying sun, I'm saying Purnima, moon, has the power of even shaking the ocean.
Yeah.
जो tides आती है वो full moon को ही तो आती है ना. So if it can move the water of the ocean, can you imagine the 75% water in your body? Will it not move? It affects that also. People who are weak in mind have lunatic attacks on that day. So they say keep calm, be meditative, do some puja. Puja is basically to calm your body. It's a meditation. And so these rituals were also made in certain days, And they had done research on the food items, by what you can eat, what you should not eat, anyway. But we come back to the river ka science jo hai, and these rituals are linked to rivers. So the 4 systems ko हमने कैसे destroy करा? As per our records, till 1948, River Yamuna was flowing very well. It was navigable for passengers and goods from Calcutta तक यहाँ से यहाँ आते थे.
Absolutely, you mentioned in the book. Yeah.
Yes. So they are there. Now what happened is that after our independence, there was obviously this, whoever were the ruling people had this big idea that we must do development, but development on the Western concept. Because everything Indian was taboo. Everything in our books was taboo. Okay, because they were also whitewashed. Their mind was also whitewashed. So they started following that method. Now, I traced a book called Yamuna, the River of Love. This book is so beautifully described what happened to the ecologic system of the world. See, the whole idea of becoming very materialistic. Most people are thinking everything should be a commodity. आज तो वो हमको भी commodity बना रहे हैं ना. पहले उन्होंने nature को commodity बनाया, अब वो हमको commodity बना रहे हैं. That's why they're saying ना, all these, they're tapping every thought of yours through your phone, through your Facebook.
Immediately it comes, AIs.
And they know कि आपको क्या पसंद है, वही भेजेंगे वो आप.
हाँ, वही आ रहा है.
So they know how to do that. Now, what has happened is that uh, this person, the Americans at that time in 60s, when Nehru ji passed a project कि भाई हमको बहुत बड़ा डैम बनाना है because we need water. Fair enough, we need water for electricity production, hydroelectric power बनना है. So we want to create a dam to store the water so that it can be gone through turbines and create the electricity. Fair enough, you use water and you create electricity, but is it fair enough to take away 90% or 80% of the water? The river also needs water for itself, ना? हमारे यहाँ एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है जो मुझे उस दिन हमारे राजस्थान के जो मिनिस्टर है, हमारे कल्चर मिनिस्टर, उन्होंने बताई, एंड आई वाज रियली रियली हैप्पी दैट वी हैव सच अ फैंटास्टिक कल्चर मिनिस्टर. ही सेड हम लोग कहते हैं दोहन, दूध दोना, दूध को दोहा जाता है ना, बट हम जानते हैं कि गाय के 4 फन होते हैं, उसके थन जो होते हैं वो 4 होते हैं जिससे दूध ले सकते हैं. लेकिन दोहना का मतलब आप 2 ही यूज करोगे, 2 यूज नहीं करोगे, 2 उसके लिए रखोगे ताकि वो सस्टेन कर सके और वो आगे आगे भी आपको दूध दे सके. ओके, तो पानी का था, अगर ये 50% पानी लेते एंड स्टार्टेड मेकिंग इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, देन रिवर का फ्लो बहुत अच्छा रहता है एंड रिवर सस्टेन करता. बट इन्होंने ये करा, बट दैट वाज वर्स. So they protested, they did come and they did talk. Americans are talking about it. So then article was written by somebody called John White. And there he says the roots of the ecological problems today. That article has been quoted in David Haberman's book, Yamuna, the River of Love, published in 1967. He himself came to India. He traveled across the Yamuna. Because, see, the first dam that was cleared on Yamuna, that was a big thing. Everybody wanted to know about why India is making a big dam for hydroelectric power. And so it became international news, you know. They also protested. John White wrote 2 articles continuing the conversation. Again, he tapped. And he very clearly says there that the Christian theologists, they do not believe that nature is our relative. They believe man is the most superior being. Everything on earth is for the use of man, and man has the right to control, use, misuse, do what it wants. Okay. So the Christian theologists had, and their development process and development on those lines was considered religion. It got a religious sanctity to do that development. Through their churches, they got all that done. And that is why water was taken. Nobody was listening because they want to see, I want to show I'm modern, I'm updated. So I must follow America or I must follow the West. I must follow what they are doing without realizing that हमारे पास तो in-depth knowledge इतनी है कि we are supposed to teach them. But that was a time when we were all, in a way, can I say, whitewashed people who had brains had been completely whitewashed. So second part, what happens after that flow kam hota hai, it comes down. There's a place called Tejawala. The Tejawala mein now they need water for irrigation. So for irrigation, they made 2 canals, East and West Canal. Most of the water started being drained out during the Green Revolution and on a very misperceived concept. The misperceived concept was that, you know, every area, as I was telling you about water, has its own qualities. Yeah. Every land area has its own properties and qualities. So in some places, you will find wheat grows well. In some places, coconut grows well. In some places, rice grows well. In some places, mangoes grow. In some places, apples grow. Now you want, nahi, sab cheez sab jagah honi chahiye. So they said, no, why should not rice grow in North India? Oh my God. Why should not rice grow in there? उसके लिए तो बहुत पानी चाहिए. तो वो पानी को डाइवर्ट करना शुरू कर दिया.
So इसको डाइवर्ट करने की जगह they diverted the water. They should have understood.
They diverted the water, है ना? Yeah. So one is the original flow का quantity कम हो गया. Quantity से उसका velocity और speed कम हो गया. Then again diversion हुआ. for the Tejawala Dam, the irrigation, the Eastern Canal and the Western Canal. So then further when it comes down towards Hatni Kund, which is the border of Delhi and Haryana, Hatni Kund is the dam from which the river gets divided into three parts. Some goes to the Haryana part and some comes to Delhi part. Okay. Now the Delhi को जो पानी मिला, because as it is पानी कम मिला, Delhi को जो पानी मिला, सबसे बड़ा corruption, Delhi is the death trap for Yamuna. When the water came here, the water was taken completely by Delhi Jal Board.
Oh.
Now Delhi Jal Board is supposed to send this water to households. Okay, but yes, they tried whatever they tried to do. What they did was that they have not metered all houses. If you do not know how many houses are needing water, how many houses need how much water, आपके घर में 2 जन है, हमारे घर में 10 जन है, हमारी कंजम्पशन फर्क होगी ना? How would I know? Only through a meter. Second thing, what happened is that there are these, as you know, politically how convenient it was to bring migrants and make them settle over here. So in the last 10-15 years, जो बाहर से लोग आने लगे, unauthorized colonies, now they need water. So now human rights issue खड़ा हो गया. Yeah, how can we do without water? So tanker mafia शुरू हो गया.
Oh.
So tanker mafia started in order to, अब माफिया ही बन जाता ना, जैसे कह रही, ये तो बड़ा अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी है. So everywhere it has become a game of materialistic consumerism and also of innocent लोगों को, naive लोगों को कैसे हम बुद्धू बना के अपनी पॉकेट्स भर सकते. So River Yamuna has become the lifeline of Delhi, has become now a dead river. Actually, it is an ICU. हम कहते हैं. Why it is an ICU? When does a person go into ICU? उनका blood counts चले गए, blood कम हो गया, blood counts चले गए, hemoglobin नहीं है, oxygen नहीं है, there is no source of water coming also. उसकी breathing space जो है, another important, as I said, flora and fauna that it was, that its breathing space came from the outer floodplains, because in season the river would flood, so it had its floodplain, it would come up to that and not beyond that. So that floodplain has been now occupied by humans who want to make their own houses over there. So they have taken away its every inch of Yamuna. What is left is a small channel. Now what happened in the 90s, I'm told, that they said कि अगर हम सारा का सारा पानी अगर यमुना का ले रहे हैं, how will we know where is Yamuna? तो यमुना खत्म हो जाएगी, मर जाएगी. So they decided कि जितने भी घरों के sewage आता है, let's divert those drains into a treatment plant, and treatment करके we will throw the clean water in the river. Okay. Now they're also big mafia. The treatment plants have been put. Till today की बात हो रही है, अब जो नए बनेंगे उनका I am not saying, but till today what we have studied, 75% not working. Those that are working, 25%, those 25% में बैक्टीरिया और वो जो FC होता है, जो fecal, जो human waste होता है, उसको treat करने की machine नहीं लगी है. So what is happening is basically that it is all sewage and dirt going into the river. So they decided to keep the water flowing to show कि भाई हाँ river है, चल रही है कुछ, लेकिन water flow नहीं करता है. आप देखेंगे क्या flow कर रहा है, chemicals flow कर रहे हैं, and all the chemical factories. So Sheila Dikshit had made another industrial zone and was shifting the factories there gradually. This government came and they again restarted those factories. So the load on Yamuna has become a dustbin. It is not a river at all. And if we do this, if we make our kitchen dustbin, then what will we eat? How will we survive? तो यमुना का बहुत serious problem ये था that Yamuna's water has been completely drained off. It's so what we had done 2 monthans. So in the first manthan, we called people from IIT Bombay and other stakeholders, because the idea was to understand that how to stop this sewage going into the Yamuna. And they have this thing that in local areas, now this new government is taking up that local areas में small STPs लगेंगी, वहीं पे सब कुछ treat होगा, manure बनेगा, वो manure use होगा gardening में, and the water will be channeled for again gardening or factories or whatever. Okay. Then we had another manthan where we got in IITs involved. Because I said IIT, हमारे Delhi has an IIT and they're not working on Yamuna, it's a shock. I was shocked to know that they have not even thought of working on Yamuna. They have a civil department, but there is no department of hydrology. So they have a department of environment, but again वही climate change, ये वो बड़ी बड़ी बातें, बड़े बड़े funds उसके नाम से जा रहे हैं. अरे बाबा, how will you do? And they say plantation करो, and crores of plantation के नाम से पैसा जाता है, and वो 99.9% trees मर जाती. भाई मरेंगी तो है जब नीचे पानी ही नहीं है तो. Even if you plant a tree, even if you plant a tree, you need water to nourish it.
Sustain it, absolutely.
So this is all a big game that the West, they are following the Western whole concept of इसके नाम से fund इधर आ गया, इसके नाम से fund इधर आ गया, उसके नाम से fund इधर आ गया. Nothing concrete can happen till you restore the natural cycle. So STPs are not working. STPs के जो उन्होंने डाला वो नहीं हुआ. So we worked with these IITs. So we had this again. What I'm telling you, what I'd already published in my book. The IIT Kanpur person said that.
Okay.
He says कि river की भी science होती है. और river की science के follow नहीं करेंगे, we will not be able to get it back in place. So we have to have this whole. So there were two things we had to do actually, So one was stop the throwing of pollutants into the river by common people. Because आप जब कहीं भी डस्टबिन देखोगे तो आप तो वहां फेंक ही दोगे ना. People also देखिए, इनको एक उनका ट्रेडिशन है कि हमको बहते जल में अपना पूजा सामग्री फेंकनी है. ठीक है, लेकिन पूजा सामग्री का जब प्रॉपर्टीज बदल गई, पहले पूजा सामग्री में मैंने कहा ना, तेल होता था, घी होता था, दही होता था, तिल होता था, चावल होते थे. अब क्या पूजा सामग्री में आता है? नायलॉन की चुन्नी आएगी, पीओपी का मूर्ति आएगी, कांच की फ्रेम करी हुई मूर्ति आएगी. यही सब तो फेंकते हैं वो लोग, और तो कुछ नहीं कर फेंकते. थोड़ा सा 2-4 दाने तिल के डाल देंगे. So they are trying to people are confused, because हमको अरे मेरे पंडित जी ने कहा बहते जल में बहा दो. मैंने कहा बहता जल मिले तब तो डालोगे ना, बहता है. So there are multiple problems at multiple levels. One is we need this whole concept of paradigm shift in the way we look at development. Because development means wise use of water and energy resources. But if you don't acquire that wisdom, then you will just do what the West has been doing. And they're also, see, उन्होंने तो अपनी population control करके manage कर लिया. लेकिन अब उनको population control का जो नुकसान हो रहा है, Belgium is become gone Islamic, France is on the way, Italy भी, मतलब पूरा West is now controlled by these so-called migrants who come for human rights. Okay, उनकी population तो खत्म ही हो रही. But we still have the dividend advantage that we know, we understand, we follow, and India has to lead.
No doubt about it.
And yes, so this whole science of nature, the river, unless the science, उसका ज्ञान और विज्ञान नहीं समझेंगे हम, तब तक we are not able to come in the right methodology for revival. So our second suggestion was, one was that local area STP treatments. Second suggestion was, please separate the river from the sewer. Sewage का जो भी पानी आता है वो river में नहीं जाना चाहिए. What you should do is, you need pani for irrigation, you need pani for gardening, you need pani for factories. That pani, you treat it at the STP, create a
Okay. Yeah.
separate pipeline to send that water to respective factories or to for irrigation. Divert it for irrigation. You are diverting river for irrigation. You have created a channel.
Hmm.
उस चैनल को बंद करो, ये वाला चैनल उसमें डाल दो कि ये ट्रीटेड वाटर उधर जाएगा. उस चैनल को बंद कर दो. चैनल तो आपके बने पड़े हैं.
That's
चैनल्स
what.
आर ऑलरेडी, है ना.
Yeah, I was
So we
reading in
said
the newspaper today that even Delhi Water Minister, he's ordered the audits of all the STPs. So I think the current government, and also because you've been working, you
we
and
have submitted all this. Whatever I'm talking to you today, this book I sent you, all this has already been given to the minister, both at Delhi as well as at the
Haryana.
center.
Okay.
No, central government Dal Shakti and
Okay.
Delhi government जो अभी परवेश बना है, परवेश साहिब से,
हाँ जी.
and even रेखा गुप्ता को मैंने दी.
Nani, I think that's a very good initiative because you've been working so selflessly on this for the last so many years. And I think one can see the results now. And also because I was very glad when I read that they have ordered the third party audits of all the STPs today. And there's several working because there's so many STPs working below capacity. So I think all this you've already worked on, and it's a very good initiative that you're working with IITs and making them.
Very
Ah,
important, very important is the NCC cadets.
yes, that I have been noticing. You've
Yeah.
you've really made those rakshaks of.
The Yamuna Rakshaks हमने बनाए. We last year in 1 year we managed to say involve 20,000 NCC cadets. In fact, Saturday again I'm going for 500 NCC girl cadets to make them aware. Because what can they do? They always have this mindset. What can a child do? What can a college or a school student do? I said, you can do one important thing. You can go to your house, you can go to your mohalla, you can go to your school friends and other friends. Tell them three things. Don't throw anything in the river, number one. Don't buy plastic as far as possible. So we give them थैलास. कपड़े के थैले देते हैं कि आप शॉपिंग जाओ, थैला ये बड़ा सा दिया आपको, उनको बोलो न्यूज़पेपर में लपेट के आपको सब्जी सामान दे. As it is, most of it comes nowadays in wraps. So just use that. Don't use plastic as much as possible. Don't use plastic bottles. We give them flask also. कि भाई इसको लेके चलो, whenever fill it up, whenever you need water, drink with this. Don't, because plastic is becoming a nuisance. Most of the stuff is getting into the rivers only, na, at the end.
So right.
So we have, they have been very good. इनका जो Republic Day का theme भी बना था, उसमें we used River Yamuna. So they created the whole work, how they have worked for Yamuna. Through Nukkar Nataks, they helped us to make awareness at different marketplaces. हमने मेट्रो के सामने मार्केट प्लेस में नुक्कड़ नाटक करे उनके साथ, हेल्थ कैंप्स करी यमुना के किनारे उनके साथ, making people aware that Yamuna's health is your health. You will not be healthy if Yamuna is not healthy. So yes, whatever little we could do as an NGO, but I think the most important critical part, as you just mentioned, is a happy news, because yesterday they had a meeting, I know, the ministers, that they have taken note of the problems and they will go very deep into it. देखिए एक चीज बहुत अच्छी हो गई, as soon as the government came,
Yeah.
सफाई अभियान शुरू हो गया.
सबसे
They,
पहले अपना.
they started cleaning everything. Now they are cleaning, but we need to tell the public not to again pollute. है ना, उस continuously वो उनको pollution आस्ते आस्ते एक mindset बन जाए, and make those places so beautiful, make the river front so beautiful that people come there, meditate, not as a tourist but as a shraddha towards nature which has given us life. So we have given those plans also.
Yes.
So
Ma'am, you
Yamuna
started.
is the lifeline.
You started
Rivers
this.
are,
Yeah,
yes.
you started this initiative of Drop Three Dream Trust. I know this is your 22nd year of doing so much for Indian cultural and everything, but being so closely associated with River Yamuna, how you place today? I mean, how do you think you feel that yes, the work is going in the right direction? Government is finally listening to you, and things are happening. small steps that you took in the beginning. Now they are bigger policy matters that the government is also taking your policies into account. So how does it feel for you? Because you are an inspiration. I remember how you started with Yamuna Walkathon, small
Yes,
awareness, poster making, and
yes,
of course this association with this
yes.
support of NCC cadets has been so great. You've been lecturing, you've been selflessly giving so many talks, having this second conclave on Yamuna a few days back with IIT collaboration. So how does it feel for you? I mean,
No, I'm very, very happy and satisfied today that whatever we did, we put it in a document, gave it to the government. Now, what happened is that before the elections,
mm,
I was very keen that Yamuna should be a topic of elections.
yes.
Unless you make it a topic of elections, people become aware of the status of Yamuna. You will not really have, you can't do much because people have to be involved. So if it's an election issue, and the incumbent government then was doing their best. In fact, they went on to say कि यमुना से वोट थोड़ी मिलते हैं. But I met the Jal Shakti minister, I met urban development minister, and I convinced them. I met the culture minister, and I convinced all the people that Yamuna is critical. You have to make it an important election point, and they did that. Finally, with it. So I was very happy when it became a point because once Mr. Modi takes up something, once the government in power takes up something, especially this government, they उनकी कथनी और करनी में बहुत कम फर्क है. So I am very happy. And today आपने तो मुझे बहुत ही अच्छी न्यूज़ दे दी. अभी मैंने पेपर पढ़ा नहीं है. That they are also considering. I was a part of the CAG, an advisor in the CAG state of Delhi, but I talked about the STPs also. कि they're not even functioning. उनकी क्या status है? So I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied, and I'm very grateful to the new government and to the central government for actually acknowledging that this needs a new mindset. We cannot continue the way we continued for 70 years on rivers. We need a relook at our policies, a paradigm shift in the way we formulate the policies, implement the policies, and connect with nature, in tune with its nature cycle, not just any way and every way. So I'm happy, I'm grateful. Yeah.
Ma'am, but where do you think we are at the battlefront? I mean, we
Yes, I would say the battle is just about started to
so do you
get
think the
river.
timeline of 5 years is too
5 years
optimistic?
is no. I think in 3 years we'll see a remarkable change. But
Okay.
in 5 years, I foresee Yamuna. See, we have also asked for a ecological flow to be increased percentage wise because उसमें जो पानी अभी आ रहा है, it's too less for it to keep the velocity. Because if there is good velocity, then dirt will not accumulate. Okay. And if there's good velocity, what happens? Something very good. It brings with it a lot of, grounded bajri, which is very important for the sides of the rivers. वो जो पत्थर होते हैं ना ऊपर, तो उनका इतना प्रेशर होता है कि चिर 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 टूट टूट के वो बजरी बन जाते हैं. And we have requested them to increase the depth of the river channel because river channel का depth खत्म हो गया है. अगर रेन आएगा भी, there is no holding capacity. So yes, we are just at about, अभी तो मैंने कहा ना, we are at the planning stage at the moment, and I'm trying to ensure that maximum of the recommendations given by us, that is separating the river from the
Yes, that's a fantastic
east,
suggestion.
and then increasing the depth of the river, digging it deep. देखो गंगा जब बनी थी, we have a recorded document that Ganga बनाने से पहले they did a deep channel digging of the whole thing from Gangotri to right till the Ganga Sagar. तो ये तो हम दिल्ली का स्ट्रेच खाली 22 किलोमीटर 48 किलोमीटर की बात कर रहे हैं. इस 40 अगर डेप्थ बढ़ जाएगी, and there is no water in it now anyways na, so you can anyways dig it very well. आप चैनल को डीप बना दो, चैनल डीप बन जाएगा, उसका जो कचरा निकलेगा, जो सुएज निकलेगा, उसको हटा के आप मेन्योर में दे दो, खेतों में जाके डाल दो, so that वहां manure बन जाएगी. Because see, earlier manure was all natural, decomposed of plant and animals and humans.
Mhm.
So this is one thing. So as I said, we are just in the planning stage. अभी बातें चल रही हैं. I have also been asked to make a presentation again to the Delhi government, and I got connected. I mean, I was called by their advisor to the minister. So I'm very hopeful that if they do a paradigm shift, so where we are now is we are at the happy stage that the problem has been diagnosed.
Mhm.
We are at the happy pace that the diagnosis has been accepted, and we are at the happy space that it is being analyzed for corrective action.
And that's wonderful. And I also feel, because I was reading the figures somewhere, that Delhi government, maybe just for the modernization of STPs, they have a budget of 500 crores, further 250 crores. Somehow I found the figure too low, because I mean, I feel that the problem is huge. So do you think the intervention of corporates, somebody adopting it up, somebody taking it up as their CSR activity, would also help get in the right funds to take it
Yes,
up?
they would. They would. That is one part of my work there that I'm going to make a presentation, that CSR has lot of funds, and it is CSR, and all the companies also need a lot of water, especially construction companies.
Right.
Companies, every factory, every company needs water.
Mm.
So they should also adopt these STPs, because if they adopt it, they will run it more professionally without any profit motive.
So
But
that.
their whole idea would be to get clean water,
Mhm.
because they need the cleanest form of water. Yes, that's
Absolutely.
a very good idea. We have also put let it down in one of our suggestions. See, for the CSR, we are already working on awareness on prevention of pollution of Yamuna.
Mhm.
So one prevention of pollution of Yamuna mein hi STP, because STP is supposed to prevent polluted water getting into Yamuna.
Mhm.
So CSR can easily take that as a project. Yes.
Yes. Because I always remember you've always said that there should be absolutely zero tolerance for Yamuna pollution.
Yes.
And
Zero.
and your word, we always remember that it's in ICU. So all these words make you think so importantly about it. And I mean, it's commendable the kind of initiative you've taken, and you've been just working consistently towards it, and finally the results are coming through, and you're making sure that there is a role of youth and the civil society.
Yes, very important. Civil society, youth have to play a critical role, because Yamuna is still on a ventilator, and we have to get her out of the ventilator and then ensure that we do not do anything to disturb her natural environment. अविरल निर्मल रहने के लिए हम सबका जिम्मेदार, we have, हम सबका कर्तव्य है, बिकॉज वही हमारी माँ है, वही जल ही हमारी जीवन है, और स्वच्छ जल हमारा जीवन है. सिर्फ जल से नहीं होता है, जल तो नल्ले गंदे नाले में भी था. सो स्वच्छ जल रखना हम हर एक, every member of the civil society. I think people who don't have meters should go to the government and tell them, please put a meter in my house, because XYZ in my family doesn't listen, वो पानी बर्बाद करते रहते हैं.
Okay.
You see, responsibility of managing your water consumption is very important. There's a very interesting policy that Haryana has made, and one interesting policy that has been made by Hyderabad. Haryana has made the first ponds authority of Haryana. मतलब उन्होंने पूरी अथॉरिटी बना दी है कि जो हमारी वाटर बॉडीज हैं उनको पहले पुराने जमाने की डॉक्यूमेंट करेंगे, एंड wherever there are none, we will create water bodies, because water bodies are an important source of nourishing the river, the survival of the river. And Haryana में ये हुआ है, and they have created an app. Through the app, they are telling everybody in every village that please document, put down the name of your place, etc. कितनी water bodies है, how many kuas are there, how many plants are there, and how many were there and have been dried up, so that they can compensate. Second is Hyderabad. If you make a new house, you will not get an occupation certificate till you have a proper water harvesting system in your house.
Fantastic.
So we have to learn from examples, other people, who have done some good job, but we cannot blindly follow the West for everything. Development on the way India. See, when they made Indraprasth, if you read the making of Indraprasth, there is so many lines which talk about how they created water bodies, they created flora and fauna, they ensured the whole place was greenery, because 75% water bodies होना बहुत जरूरी है, because otherwise river would not have survived for us if they had not created those water bodies then.
Absolutely, ma'am. And not only these traditions that you revive through your trust, it's also the storytelling, the
Yes,
through heritage, epics,
yes,
living
yes.
traditions, which, as
जी,
you always say, can mobilize ecological awareness in action. It's been such a
जी.
wonderful conversation, ma'am. But what
Thank
is
you.
one message that you would really like to leave for listeners who want to really reconnect with their roots and contribute meaningfully to Yamuna's revival?
See, they have to definitely, one thing is avoid, minimize, if not completely avoid the use of plastics, and not litter any, litter around plastics. Tell their children, their family members. And second thing is that read, understand about the science of rivers, what our ancestors have told, why we should revere rivers, why we should revive our rivers. And if you do not respect rivers, rivers will not respect you. It's a very simple question. So you have to, I would like to tell them, each of the one, become aware, become sensitive to nature, become a part of uh, reviving that life system of nature, so that our life system becomes better. Because if you replenish their life system by avoiding destruction, and what is avoiding destruction? Not throwing waste. So don't destroy nature, replenish nature, and nature will reward you with very good health and very good life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today and sharing your deep wisdom, passion, and your work around the sacred river Yamuna is so inspirational. And you've always been the powerful legacy of Draupadi continues with your trust, with your continuous work for Yamuna. Your insights have not only enlightened us, but also reminded us of the profound connection between nature, history, and identity. So we really wish you all the luck and really grateful for the work that your trust, Drop 3 Dream Trust, has been doing, preserving what is timeless.
Thank
It's
you.
been,
And you have been contributing so much to the trust, good work. So I'm so grateful to you for that also. It's always inspirations from people in society that takes us forward, that keeps us going. Thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you,
Okay.
ma'am. And thank you
Good
everyone
day.
for joining us today. It's been a wonderful session. Do subscribe to our channel so that more and more people can watch this wonderful conversation that we've had today. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Okay.